Welcome back. I hope you tried out the puzzles about conditionals, and I'm going to review some of the possible solutions to this. There's always more than one way to solve these problems. If you have more interesting ways to solve, please share them with your friends and discuss. Let's get started. Alright, so what this says is, try running this puzzle a few times before you write any code. That's what I did. You'll notice 3 switches on the walkway, each randomly toggle open or closed. Okay, so it tells me to move to the first switch. I know how to do that. Tap to enter code, and I'm going to move to the first switch. Notice that there are a lot more commands here. You can actually swipe from left to right to see all of them. But the one I want is down here, move forward. So I'm going to tap on move forward to get to the first switch. Okay, then it says select if in the shortcut bar to add an if statement. Okay, if is right here. If, there's some stuff you can fill in. If condition, then do some code. Okay, so if you tap on each of these placeholders, they're going to let you fill in some code, and you can actually fill it in using one of these autocompletes, or you can type it in yourself. What I want is if is on closed switch, and it's right here. Okay, there is a condition for is on closed switch, and there's a condition for is on open switch. So I'm going to tap on if is on closed switch. What do I want to do? I want to toggle the switch, which is down here. Okay, and I think I've mentioned this before in one of my earlier videos. I like to test out my code every single time I make a change, because if I write in 15 lines of code and something goes wrong, the error is in those 15 lines of code. If I write 3 lines of code and something goes wrong, it's a lot easier to find the error in those 3 lines of code, right? So I'm going to tap on run my code, and let's see Byte go through this random thing. Oh, it's all on. Okay, so move forward, and that's because he ended up on an open switch. Oh, the second one is actually off, right? But that's fine. So let's run it one more time. Maybe we'll get lucky and he'll end up on a closed switch. And no. Okay, so Byte is as unhappy as we are, but I'll try it one last time. Let's see if we end up with a closed switch to test if we can get Byte to toggle it only when it's closed. Alright, I think we're in luck. Let's go. So Byte will end up on a closed switch. If he's on a closed switch, toggle switch. Okay, he still looks unhappy, but we're happy because we know that our code works. And we know that we just need Byte to do this 2 more times. So let's do this. If we want Byte to do this 2 more times, you could go ahead and type out the code, or you can just copy and paste, right? So the best way to copy and paste is to use your selector and copy this. Go down here and paste. Tap to paste. Okay, that this entire thing you can actually select and drag and tap on it to copy and paste. Okay, so now we have Byte doing the second switch as well. You can also select everything by tapping on the command, and if you want to select more than just the command, double tap on it again, and it will become a regular text selector. Then you can select more than just that one command. Tap on it one more time and press copy. Okay, and go down here and press paste. I like to leave a bit of space in between my different commands, just so I can segment out visually what the different sections of my commands are. So the first part is having Byte move forward. Second part is having Byte fix the first switch, then moving to the second one, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm ready to try out my code. And this time around, I'm going to get Byte to move faster. So let's try that. Yay! 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 Alright, it worked when all 3 switches were off. One of the things though about this particular puzzle is that it's random. So in theory, you might want to run your code one more time to see whether it works for a different set of switches. But I'm pretty sure that my code over here works because it's a very generic solution. It says, as long as you're on a switch that's off, please turn it on. Okay, let's go on to the next puzzle. Okay, so this next puzzle is very similar to before, except you might see a gem or a switch. Okay, so let's go take a look. It says move to the first randomized tile. I know what to do for that. I'm going to use move forward. All right, we've been asked to add an if statement, so tap on if. Okay, and it says inside your if statement, add an else if block. Okay, so for this part, It's actually not immediately obvious how you add an else if. You could type it out yourself, but that could be a little bit error prone. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to tap on the closing curly brace over here. That means even if you're using a trackpad, use your finger and tap on the little 2-dot handle over here. And what that does is it will give you some options that pop up. And you can add in this thing that says add else if statement. Okay? And what this lets us do is you can add in a condition for something else that might happen. All right. So what this means is that you now just need to look at your code. Let's just tap outside to see. If condition, execute some code. Else if some other condition, execute some other code. So let's fill this in real quick. So for the first thing I want to check is I want to check if I'm on a closed switch. So let's go down here. I can see, oh, there you go. Right down here I have if is on closed switch. I'm going to tap on that. And what do I want to do if I'm on a closed switch? Let's tap on this code over here. And I want to toggle switch. So I'm going to scroll over here and find toggle switch. There we go. Tap on toggle switch. Okay. Next, else if, what else do I want to look for? I want to look for if I'm on a gem, right? So else if is on gem. So I'm going to tap on condition over here. Look for is on gem. There we go. Tap on it. What do I want to do if I'm on a gem? Well, I want to get money. So I'm going to pick up the gem. So it's right here, collect gem. And there you go. This is the solution for one block. So let's try this real quick. Let's press run my code. All right. Because it's a gem, it's going to run that part of the if statement where it collects a gem. Okay. So if you want to see this in action, where you want to see how your code runs, you can tap on this thing over here and do step through my code. Let's try that. Okay, so pay attention to where the little caret over here is, and it says, oh, right, it's on a gem, so collect gem. Okay, notice that the dots skip past toggle switch because there was no switch at that point. So it didn't run that part of code. It's a bit like an alternate reality, right? It's if this thing happens, I'm going to do this. If something else happens, well, my path has diverged. It's the multiverse of madness. Okay, so let's move on and finish up this code. We just need to do this one more time. So for this, I'm just going to copy and paste all my code. You can use your keyboard for this, and you can just move your cursor over here, hold down the Shift key, select, press up to select, and you can press Command C to copy. Nice little keyboard shortcut. And move your keyboard all the way down and press Command V to paste. Okay, so there you go. Move forward. And if you're on a switch, toggle switch. If you're on a gem, collect gem. And then move forward again. If you're on a switch, toggle switch. If you're on a gem, collect gem. Let's run through the code by stepping through it one more time just to see what happens. Yay! Yay! Alright, impressive. You now know how to write your own else-if statements. Very nice. Let's move on to the final challenge. Okay, congratulations! You've learned how to write conditional code using if statements and else if blocks. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use this knowledge of conditional statements and combine it with our knowledge of for loops to actually solve this entire puzzle in, I think, about 7 or 8 lines of code, which is pretty cool. What do we want Byte to do? Right? We want Byte to either move forward or collect a gem. At some point, he has to turn. Right? At some point, he has to turn. If he just moves forward and collects gem, he's going to fall off the edge of the world and we'll all be very sad because we have sent him plummeting to an untimely end. But you might have noticed that every time Byte picks up a gem, he has to turn to his left. Correct? So let's check real quick. So over here, after he picks up his first gem, he has to turn to his left. After he picks up his second gem, he has to turn to his left. After he picks up his third gem, he has to turn to his left. After he picks up his fourth gem, well, he can turn to his left for all I care. He's picked up everything. Alright, so that's how we're going to solve it. So there's actually only 2 sets of commands that Byte needs to do. One set is to move forward, okay, and the other set is to pick up a gem and turn left, right? Notice that these 2 sets are together and they're sequential, right? You pick up a gem and then you turn left. I guess you could also turn left and pick up a gem. Feel free to try that out. You'll notice that in my if statement, there are 2 sets. There's if something, else move forward. Hey, they've already accounted for this set of commands, move forward. So we just need to figure out what's the condition to trigger Byte to pick up a gem and turn left. Well, I think we all know, right? In order to pick up a gem, byte has to be on a square where there is a gem. So we're going to say if is on gem, pick up a gem. Let's go find pick up gem. Sorry, collect gem. Where's collect gem? There it is. Collect gem and turn left. Turn left. Okay? And I think that's it. Right, I think that's it. Let's tap on step through my code to see what it looks like. Here you go. Are you on a gem? Nope. Move forward. And then, are you on a gem? Nope. Move forward. Alright. Are you on a gem? Nope. Move forward. Oh, now you're on a gem, so you collect gem and turn left. Great. Are you on a gem? Nope. Move forward. Are you on a gem? Nope. Move forward. This part's going to get really boring. It's going to be me saying, are you on a gem? Move forward for the next 30 seconds or so. So feel free to skip past this part. Are you on a gem? Move forward. Are you on a gem? Yes. Collect gem and turn left. Are you on a gem? Nope. Move forward. Are you on a gem? Nope. Move forward. Are you on a gem? Yes. Collect gem and turn left. Are you on a gem? Nope. Move forward. Are you on a gem? Nope. Move forward. Are you on a gem? Nope. Move forward. Are you on a gem? Yes. Collect gem and turn left. And you're done. Yay! Well, what did you learn from all that, other than the fact that I can say, are you on a gem? Nope, move forward many times? Well, one thing is you might have kind of lost track of what I was, right? How did we actually know to do this 16 times? Well, we cheated, right? Because Swift Playgrounds already determined that you need 16 of these statements. If you are ever curious about how to keep doing something like this until the end of time, until you run out of blocks or under some conditions, you can look up something called while loops, but we won't actually be going through that in this curriculum. So I think this is a really remarkable puzzle because what you've done is you've solved this puzzle, right, where you had to walk over, I think, about 12 tiles with just 8 lines of code. 12 tiles, 8 lines of code. That's pretty amazing, and you collected a bunch of money along the way. That's pretty cool. And how did we do it? Well, we kind of recognize the pattern, right? You do one thing if certain conditions are met, and you do something else if other conditions are met. And that's the essence of programming, right? You find patterns, you implement solutions, you test if they work. And if they don't work, you can always try again, right? That's perfectly fine. All right, so thanks for joining us for this series of coding exercises.